Crosman Corporation's founded in 1923, Rochester, New York. Crosman is the #1 leading American maker of air guns. Introducing the Diamondback Adult Precision Air Rifle. This thing is an all-weather polymer stock, 177 caliber, 1400 feet per second, ideal for small game. 5-year warranty from the manufacturer, 2-stage adjustable trigger, 4x32 millimeter scope from center point. This thing is a nitro piston, and average groupings are reduced by 1/2 inch due to the reduction in friction of the vibration of nitro pistons. Not only that, but more speed. Nitro piston elites shoot up to 15% faster than standard gas pistons. And not only that, the nitro piston elite packs power. That's 35% more power than standard gas pistons. This thing also has a quiet system, which is a baffle system. This one's an 8-tier. My Crosman Fire, I think, has a 5-tier, which is the one above the gold. But we're going to compare those later on. So right off the bat, from the Crosman Diamondback, has a sweet, sleek, beautiful polymer look to it. Very tactical. Laser cuts on the barrel, reducing the weight of the polymer and kind of putting it in places that maybe individuals wouldn't notice. Notice the beautiful M16 shoulder stock along with the beautiful pistol grip. Reminds me of a tactical shotgun. Along with the 2-stage adjustable trigger that you can adjust to the touch of your finger. Like I said, with the polymer, they put it in places that probably other individuals don't know or wouldn't notice. Right here over the piston, you can see they have polymer. The Crosman Fire does not have that over the piston for some reason. Now the sling mounts in the front and the sling mount in the rear stock. That's another thing. So you're getting more feet per second, you're getting sling mounts, and you have iron sights, which make a big difference in all hunting scenarios or just, you know, plinking around. Windage and elevation on the iron sights, something that the Crosman Fire lacked, along with the 8-tier SBD barrel silencing device. Whatever you want to call it. Like I said, you see the polymer being shoved in other places that maybe balance this thing out or kind of help it with the performance. I don't know for sure, but you can see it comes with the 4x32 scope, a manual, and the scope rings. Now, before we get to mounting and testing, if you own a Crosman nitro piston gas system, subscribe, like the content. I will show you how to mount a bipod. I will show you how to mount a Picatinny rail system, because basically when you buy some of these air guns, off-the-shelf air guns, you really don't get some of these features. And I will show you how to reduce recoil so that way you can have more accurate shots. Not only that, but modifying your trigger with an RC bearing. I'm pretty sure you heard of that mod. That mod's all over the computer, all over the internet. And you know, if you're just tired of missing, and if you want to make your guns more accurate, reduce recoil, all these things, I will walk you through some of these mods. If you own a Crosman nitro piston, now I'm not going to say all Crosman nitro pistons are the same models, but they're almost identical. And on some of these models, you can tell that the nitro piston is just a little bit larger than some of these, but the same concept, the same platform is very identical. So I will walk you through the steps I'm doing this with the Crosman Diamondback. All right, guys, we're really close to getting pellets down range. If you had trouble mounting your scopes on these nitro pistons, this one's a nitro piston elite, so that means more feet per second, more rattle on the scope. I'm going to show you how to mount your scope rings correctly and mount your scope correctly. If you ever had the issue where your scopes are flying off, maybe this is the simple mistake you've been doing all along. Now, guys, the reason why I didn't mention any tools, because you don't need any. Mostly when you buy a scope, The tools come with it, and all you need is this Allen wrench set. I don't know what size it is, but it already comes in the packaging. Now, right off the bat, you notice there are 2 scope rings. If you're really not familiar with any of these concepts, you probably would say they really look identical, nothing, you know, unfamiliar. But if you notice that this one has 2 screws and this one only has 1, so I normally mount the 2 screws at the very end, and the reason why is because of this prong right there. Now, you might want to ask what that's for. I'm going to be showing you in just a second. So basically, this little prong, you can screw it in and out with an Allen wrench, and you put it right in there. When you mount your scope ring, that little prong sits right off in that little hole. And with an Allen wrench, you can screw in and out of that hole with the Allen wrench that it came with. So in order to access that little hole, you have to take off these 2 screws for that top scope ring plate. Now, once you took that top plate off, this is what it should look like. And don't forget to loosen these up. Don't loosen them too loose. Give a little bit play, but enough to cuff around this dovetail. All right, so you're gonna see it cuff a little bit. Let's see what happens. We just get it cuffing. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's a little hard, but there we go. She's cuffed. So what you're gonna do is kind of put it back and forth, and notice she has a lot of play. Now remember that Allen screw. So what you're going to do is that top screw right up in here. Now she's set in there. So what I'm going to do is screw her out until, and kind of like move her around until she gets put in a bind. Now I wouldn't screw her all the way down, because to be honest with you, she will push up, and you know, you wouldn't be able to tighten her down because it will come off the rail trying to screw that center one all the way down. So you got to kind of screw these a little bit, tug her around till she's locked in, and screw that top in until she's secure and tight. So what that does, it just puts it in a bind. So I would do these first, screw these down first until you feel a nice tug, you feel nice and centered. Then you can start screwing that down, and that should put it in a bind. Then you can put the rest of the pieces on your scope. You're ready to go. I'm going to walk you through that. So now you're going to grab your second ring, take off the cap just like the first one, and loosen up the side plate, so that way we're able to cuff this. And then when you're going to take your scope out, then you can kind of measure in between where your scope can sit at perfectly, and I'll walk you through that. Just make sure your fastener is facing the same way as your other fasteners, okay? Now, a lot of people like to make fun of these scopes, but it came with it, with the bubble wrap. There's the manual. The center point scope is coming along really good. This is one of the reasons why you want to leave this loose, so that way your scope rings do not hit the edges of the scopes, because of the collision that the nitro piston will be delivering can mess up your reticule. So what you want to do is kind of find them sweet spots for the mounting rings, and you want your gun to look nice and even and good. So that's pretty decent. As long as your stuff is locked in, that rear is locked in, all you have to do is just fasten the front one to kind of lock that in position. That way you don't lose your 6. So after that, then you put these bad boys on. Some of you might have trouble with, some of you might not. Some of you already know what you're doing. And just put these screws that you took off from earlier back on. All right, kind of like a tire. You want to tighten one end, then the other, but not tight. Do not tighten them all the way down, because you still got to align your scope upright, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, once you get those top plates nice and snug, no tight, no almost tight, none of that. Do not tighten them yet. So what you're going to do is basically look down and see your crosshairs. So I'm gonna try to adjust the camera where I can see the crosshairs. So notice notice this little line right here. To me, all the way up front of the barrel, all the way up here, that's a center line, all the way up to the blade. That's a center line. That's the center of the blade. So notice that will have you basically on point. That's basically how I did all my air guns ever since I was a youngin', and I'm sticking to that because it's always worked for me. So what I'm gonna do is line that reticule line in there, in that scope, along with the line right here. So just in case you guys didn't know, what I like to do is leave an even amount of gap. And I wouldn't say even, just even all the way around. And the only way you can do that is just tighten this diamond, and that's about it. That's what I do. I tighten it all the way down to what I can on both sides, all the way down. Then I diamond tighten it, crisscross. And you pretty much get the even amount every time. It never fails. And just be easy on it. The last thing you want your scope to do is to keep shifting just like this. If not, you will have to align it back to this. So it would work either way if it's crooked or straight. But, you know, if you have that OCD where your reticule has to be upright, I don't blame you. That's how I would like mine to be. So let's get this thing out in the range. All right, guys, we got FPS going on with the Crosman Diamondback. We have some Crosman hollow points, some Crosman pointed pellets, 7.4 grain. We're gonna check the velocity. So we just got done with the chronograph, 1,035 feet per second, somewhere along 1,017. Now for the Crosman Fire, I think it was around 930, 950. So not a significant difference. I've used the Crosman pointed pellets before. I did the Crony with the Crosman Fire. Now what I'm going to do is send some pellets downrange, around 5 pellets, to see what kind of accuracy we can get out of these pellets with this typical rifle at that range of FPS. So let's see what happens. So as you can see, somewhere between a ½ inch. Now, more likely these two, I might have pulled them. I might have one pulled, one flyer, but that's the outcome. Later on, we're going to be trying these out with some different pellets as well. All right, guys, I'm back from the range, and I can tell you what, the Crosman Diamondback definitely packs that bigger punch. About 2 years ago, I did a video on the Crosman Fire, around 1200 feet per second, 177 caliber. If you want to go check that out, please scroll to my channel and check that out. That is the Crosman Fire at 177 caliber. Now, let's compare what does the $100 difference between $180 difference. That's right, the Diamondback, I purchased it at Bass Pro in Missouri, and I've been holding on to this thing and wanting to make a review on this product. Been dying to do a review, so here I am. So I'm going to review what $80 more can do for you. So it is a 177 caliber. They do obtain this in the 22, so you can find this in the 22 caliber. The barrel twist rate is 115.5. That's 1 in 15s and 0.5. It is a Nitro Piston Elite, and it shoots alloy pellets up to 1400 feet per second and lead pellets up to about 1150. Now that generates about to 20 to more foot-pounds depending on the pellet you use. Now let's look at the pros and the cons. More FPS, and using the Crosman pellets, as you've seen on the chronograph, that's 7.4 pointed Crosman pellets. We were generating around 1,025 feet per second. Not bad. Somewhere around 100 feet per second more. So what does this thing come with? It comes with sling mounts, something the Crosman Fire lacked. Sling mounts, and what I really like about sling mounts is your hands free, kind of like a tactical gun, along with the pistol grip. This is a beautiful thing right here. So you're hunting for your game. Let's say, for instance, you spot your game, you want to come out and quickly draw. You can do that as well. Another thing too, you can kind of use your sling mount to kind of stabilize you. So that helps out in my ring. That helps out all the way around, hands free. You get to grab your pellets and stuff like that. And it saves you money on buying more attachments and buying, modding it out and stuff like that. They come already prepared. That's just one of the pluses. Now, it does have the crisp trigger. The Crosman Fire did came with a plastic trigger. This is a metal trigger. It's a beautiful trigger. I really like it. And as you can see on the shots, the 5 shots that I did, you can see the grouping on it. A little bit flyer here. So I kind of want to mod it and see what kind of groupings I can get with the RC bearing, but I'm gonna try to get used to this at first, and then I'm gonna do the mods afterwards. So like I said, comes with a sling mount and the metal trigger and front and rear sight. So it comes, I'm kind of disappointed a little bit in Crosman, and comes with the front, comes with the rear windage elevation, but I'm kind of disappointed in them because they use a little bit plastic. So if I were y'all, kind of be aware of that. Make sure you don't bump that thing into anything, because I guarantee you it'll break. That's the downfall to it, but we'll talk about that in a second. So it has all-weather stock, single shot. Not only that, but it's SPD suppression. This thing has an 8-tier, and the Crosman Fire has a 5-tier. With the bigger RAM, you're going to need something a little bit more quieter, a little bit more baffle in it to make it just as quiet as the Fire. So what else does it have to offer? It has 11 dovetail rail, 5-year limited warranty. And that's good. I've been speaking to a lot of Crosman customer service, and they've been nothing but really helpful to me. Honestly, they've been really nice. If you go and explain the situation that you're going through with you never know who you talk to on that other line of that phone, and you don't have to just right away start giving them, trouble and all that. Honestly, they really do give good customer service, and they're not paying me for this. I promise you, they're not. That's why you see me buying more Crosman products, not criticizing anybody else at the end of the other services. But when I spoke to the customer service at Crosman, they were really polite, and trust me, you don't know who you're going to speak to on the other side of that phone. So that's another plus. So what are the cons to this product? It doesn't have an adjustable stock. It has an M16 plain old stock. It's not adjustable. Not saying that they will come out with some that's adjustable, but if you look at the model's TR77, it's a small compact model. I would trade both of these rifles for that TR77 from Crosman. Has everything that these two rifles have, and it's more compact, more of a SBR type of thing. It's a very, very unique firearm, air rifle. And if you own that thing, I have to give you an applause. That thing is a gold mine. So if you have one, own it, take care of it, and hold on to that thing, because that thing is sweet. That's a nice Crosman rifle. So what else does this thing, it doesn't have a pellet compartment, so, you know, good thing with the sling mount, you can access your pellets and stuff like that. And it doesn't come with rail attachments. Like the Crosman Fire, I had to install my own rail attachments and stuff like that, which just helps out, no problem. No power dial on the scope, which is no zoom power on the scope. I purchased a Barska scope that has a zoom power dial. When you got more FPS and stuff, you get a little more range. You can use that advantage. So I would really like a power dial, but for $180, you know, I don't know. Let's see. And it's kind of heavy. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit more heavier than a Crosman Fire, and I don't even have no attachments as you know, the rail or the bipod, which is, I will be doing a video on that. So please like, subscribe. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe. I will be showing you mods on this thing that I did on the Crosman Fire. I will explain that to you on that video, but please stick around. Stay tuned for the next one. So if you want something lighter, go with the Gamma. I haven't done a review on the Gamma, but I basically held one in my hands, and they're a lot lighter, depending on what model. But I've noticed that they're real light. I barely noticed they're in my hands. That's how they're almost like a Daisy 80 weight. But well, that's it for this thing. That's it for this channel. And before we go, I will show you the piston size, so that way you'll believe me. And you know, to all my subscribers, I want to thank you so much. To all the veterans, I want to thank you so much. And like I said, long live the Republic. But wait, I'm going to be showing you caliper in this barrel size to show you that the piston is a lot larger. All right, guys, I have that caliper in millimeter. Now, it's going to be a little hard to do this by yourself. So, there it goes. All right, so pull her together. All right, as you can see, 32.99, and that was touching both ends of this piston. You can see one end and the other. Now, as you can see, we slightly just move it over to this one, and you can tell right off the bat the piston was larger. So let's drag to see what this is. All right, and that's both sides. So there you go. That's the proof, and it makes sense, man. And I'm not trying to, you know, it just, you got more FPS, so you're gonna need a bigger RAM. So just to let you know, that it just weighs more. That's basically what I'm saying. You got a little more weight to it compared to the Crosman Fire. So guys, it's up to you. What $100 compared to $180 have to offer you. So if you want to stick around to modificate this one, please like, please subscribe, and until next time, long live the Republic on Airstream.